Okay, so what is good, everyone? Welcome back. I'm mmorpg, and today we're going to be looking at the Ulduar BIS sets that I've put together. I think that this one that I'm showing on the screen currently is substantially better than the one that is linked in the Warlock Discord. I do think the Warlock Discord one is going to be better on certain fights, but I'll have to get into the specifics of that later. Reason being is that I think that it severely under what's the word, it isn't giving haste enough value in the set, and it also it isn't giving proc trinkets enough value in the set. I think that Scale of Fates is a trinket that's good for it's good for really fast fights where you maybe like a 2-minute 30 fight where you're going to get 2 uses out of it, and in your overall set you also have low haste to where Scale of Fates isn't going to put you over or under global cooldown cap with Lust and Eradication when you're just blasting Shadow Bolts. But let me talk about the set that I would use and the set I'm going to use, and then I'll give you different sorry, I'm really sick. I'll give you different the Warlock Discord set and when I would use that set instead. So right here, you can just look at all the items really quick. These are the talents that I would use. I would make sure that you have pushback reduction for just about every boss. I would not go and improve life tap for most bosses. There may be an area where you could go improve life tap over improve agony, just because you might be using Curse of Doom more often, especially on a fast fight. But you definitely want to make sure that you have your pushback reduction, and then everything else is kind of standard affliction sets. And then this is just the one that's in the Warlock Discord, but I think that the reason people are so hell-bent on finding what sims the best is because they're not actually thinking about how it's going to be in practice. Like when you're doing, let's say you're doing XT hard mode. Okay, well, you get a ton of multi-dot opportunities, which means that haste is going to affect your corruption substantially more than getting a little more crit and a little more spell power from having some of these fucking items that, you know, like the firefighter helmet, and I think this is algalon belt. And then scale. Some of these items just don't make sense when it comes to actually playing Ulduar. And then if you're going to try and copy this set and try and sim it or whatever, and, you know, argue in the comments, make sure that you have your parameters set like this. But let's get into the gear. So first things first, it's going to be your Collar of the Worm Hunter. This is from Razor Scale. I go ahead and put my Shining Forest Emerald in that. This helmet's like perfectly statted. The only caveat that you could do instead of this is you could swap the firefighter helmet, and then you could use the crafted belt in place of the algalon belt. But yeah, this helmet's usually pretty low drop rate, but it's very, very good, perfectly statted. It's just super low item level compared to the firefighter helmet. Next item that is going to be questioned is the Iron Council hard mode necklace from 25 Man. Reason I'm using this over the Flame Leviathan necklace is that this necklace is just about the exact same stats as the Flame Leviathan one, but it doesn't have the hit, and because we're going to be using Dying Curse still, I don't think that, or I don't think, but you just don't need the hit rating from this necklace, or from the Flame Leviathan necklace. Next item is going to be your Ulduar 10 hard mode belt, or sorry, shoulders. This is from Yogg 1. You don't have to do Yogg 0. And then I go ahead and I put a Reckless in the yellow socket there, just because 6 spirit is basically another 3 spell power. It's pretty close. You're very haste starved in this set, so it's pretty close if you just put 2 19 spell power gems in there. Next item is going to be your algalon cloak. So when it comes to this item is going to take you a long time to get, because it's not a substantial, and I'm also assuming that you're in like tier 7 BIS. It's not a substantial upgrade from Pennant. Pennant's very well statted and also high item level. But a lot of classes, this comes from the algalon quest item. So the algalon quest item is generally going to go to other classes like hunters, who can actually utilize the armor penetration, maybe rogues if they're playing combat, ferals. There's several other classes that should probably be getting the quest item before you. And then obviously make sure that you're tailoring, and then I put my other shining forest emerald in there. Next item is going to be your chest. So for your chest, this is where you're finally going to start using some tier. If you look at the tier 2 set bonus, it says it increases your damage done by unstable affliction by 20%. That is, I know that tier is very low item level, but that's just non-negotiable. The other aspect of this is that there's no 252 chest that is worth taking over this. There's a very good chest from Ulduar that is the same item level, and there's also another one from Iron Council. But this one is like, you just need your 2 sets so badly. And it also, you know, it has decent sockets, and but the 2 set bonus is basically another 5% of your damage, just because unstable affliction, or maybe it's 4%. Unstable affliction generally does, I want to say 12% of your total damage. So maybe it's only 2%. But even regardless, it's substantially more than putting on your Freya hard mode legs or something like that, and then going for the Ulduar chest or the Iron Council chest or something like that. I would definitely always, any set, there's a ton of different sets that you could make, but any set you have to have your 2-piece, and I think that this is the best combination. Okay, so let's move on to bracers. So your bracers are going to be from XT hard mode. These bracers are pretty highly contested. Luckily, you're not going to be getting your shit stolen from like Holy Paladins or whatever, like you are with Turning Tide. But I think a lot of players are going to start moving over to Affliction Lock, and you're probably going to have a hard time getting these. They're also relatively close to the Unsullied bracers. They're the exact same stats, just a little bit higher, but this is unquestionable BIS. Next item is going to be your Star Shard Edge. This comes from either Algalon or Firefighter 25-man. So the thing about Star Shard is that, I'm going to pull up this little note thing that I had. If you were to completely gem and enchant and whatnot and use Star Shard or Cosmos or Iron Mender, and then compare that to the Ice Core staff out of Ulduar 10, there's just no way that you would ever pass up Star Shard Edge. So this is unquestionable BIS again. The thing is that Ice Core staff is actually very close. I would say that it's probably, it's not too far behind, and the other caveat is that you can very easily pick up extra hit rating from other pieces. So you could pick up the Cosmos, you could pick up the Flame Vithan neck, you could pick up the crafted belt, and there's even the Algalon 10 gloves that are very good. These Pulsar gloves, really well statted. But yeah, Star Shard Edge is going to be your BIS, very good. Next item is going to be Iron Mender. So this is another spot where most people are going to disagree with me on. The stats on Cosmos are just dog shit. Like, you don't need that crit. You're missing that Spirit's going to turn into spell power, and then you're severe, like, you're so limited on haste in the Warlock Discord BIS set that I think hands down you just go Iron Mender over Cosmos. So yeah, this is from Ulduar 25-man. And yeah, that's what I would use. Next item is going to be your Pharaoh's gloves. These are from Algalon 25, man. These gloves are, again, unquestionable BIS. They're very, very well statted. They're even haste heavy. If you look at where it says the crit versus the haste is actually still higher. 2 sockets, 252 item level. Fucking, it's gonna take you a while to get these, because I still think that this should probably go to your mages and boomkins first. Maybe not boomkin, but at the very least, mage should probably get this first. Just because they get more out of the crit, but these gloves are very good. Next item is going to be your algalon belt. So this is an item that you probably won't get for a while. You're probably going to be sitting on your crafted belt for a hot minute. I'll go ahead and show that on the screen now. The crafted belt's also very, very good. And the thing about this algalon belt is that you're going to be contested with fire mages. One thing to note is about the gemming. I would definitely make sure that you go ahead and put 2 reckless in the, because it's 2 yellow sockets. I would just put 2 reckless in there. But yeah, you're probably going to be waiting a little bit for this. It's not perfect. It's not great statted for affliction. You don't generally go for for crit spirit items, but the item level just pushes it way higher than crafted belt. But as I said earlier, you could swap this to crafted belt and then go firefighter helmet, and it's basically the exact same item swap. Next item is going to be your tier legs. Reason you're using tier legs is because they're very well statted. The only problem is that and that you need your 2-piece. The only problem is that it's got bad socket colors, and it also has a very low item level compared to something like, I don't know, Freya legs. So the Freya 25 hard mode legs, let me show you those, are technically better, but again, you still need the 2-piece, and then they're the stats on the Freya legs are just trash, honestly. Like, you just don't need that crit. You don't, I know it has 3 sockets, blah blah blah, but you need your 2-piece, and then this is like one one of the best tier 8 leg or tier pieces for warlocks. Next item is going to be your Flame Leviathan 25 man boots. These boots are basically perfectly statted. The socket bonus in there is very good. The socket colors are very good. The only thing that would make it a little better is if it swapped spirit to crit, which you might actually see in the, or you see that in these boots, but the problem with these boots is that they're more crit heavy, they're not haste heavy. So I would definitely pick up the Flame Leviathan ones over the Yogg 25 boots. The Yogg boots are very good if you end up getting a bunch of those and none of the Flame Leviathan ones, but I doubt that'll be the case for most people. Next item is going to be your 2 rings. So your 2 rings are unquestionably going to be Firefighter 25 Conductive Seal. This is incredibly hard to get. You're going to be sharing this with just about every caster DPS. This item is probably going to stay BIS. Depending on TOC item levels, this item is probably going to stay BIS until fucking ICC. So if you're looking for items that are very important to get, this is one of them. This is a very good ring. And yeah, 252 item level. I mean, it was already basically, it was basically used until ICC, even at 239 item level. So now that it's 252, it's just unquestionable. Next item is going to be Nebula Band. So this comes from Algalon 10 man. Very highly contested item. Thing about Nebula Band is that it's pretty low item level, but I mean, you don't really have a choice on any rings. The only 252 item level ring is going to be the Firefighter ring. The thing about Nebula is that you could, if you're kind of hurting for hit rating, or maybe you want to use scale like you're you know, fucking monkey. If you want to use scale over Dying Curse, you could probably just go Frozen Loop, or you could go this ring from Flame Leviathan 10 man hard mode. It's called Shimmering Seal. This is also a very good ring. But I like Frozen Loot just because it has that extra haste on it. But I would still use Nebula Band over both of those other rings. Oh, now we get into the fun part. So everyone's really on this Scale of Fates hype train. I'm just not a fan of it. The first thing is that it's a haste proc, and it's got a 2-minute cooldown. It's basically just another haste potion. When you compare that on any fight that's longer than like 4 minutes, the amount of procs that you're gonna get from Dying Curse is just like, you're gonna get what, 6, 7, 8 procs from Dying Curse, where it's basically 800 spell power versus, you know, 20 seconds of fucking a haste buff that might even put you under global cooldown cap. I think that's just trash. Dying Curse is still a proc trinket. I think it's still possible to itemize around the extra hit rating. Even with the item level jumps and whatnot, you can still toss away different pieces, so like the Flame of Ithon neck, to make sure that you don't go, you know, into the 400 hit rating issue. But I always run, or not always, but I think that double proc trinkets, especially in Ulduar, are going to be substantially better. I think that going for scale is just, on any fight that's less than 3 minutes, it's just, I think it's a loss of DPS for sure. So Dying Curse is, I'm going to lock it in and say that this is still your best in Ulduar. Next trinket is going to be Flare of the Heavens. This is probably not a surprise to anybody. The 252 item level alone made this trinket it's just fucking crazy. The fact that it's a proc trinket makes it even better. The crit on it isn't great, but it's really just that proc of 1k spell power. Like, the item level on this item is essentially making this like an ICC fucking tier item, which is just nuts. So I would definitely just run Dying Curse and Flare. You definitely need to be playing around your proc trinkets like always, but there's just no way that scale fits into that, or even a Lu. The only caveat to this would be if Flare has an insanely low proc rate. That would be the only reason that I wouldn't run this trinket, but I sincerely doubt that. So 2 trinkets are going to be Flare and Dying Curse. And then Flare comes from General Vezak's 25 hard mode. Yeah. So last item is going to be your Freya 10-man hard mode wand. This wand is highly coveted. It will last you until ICC, depending on, you know, if they buff TOC item levels or not. But yeah, this is basically the only reason I run 10-man. I usually don't even care that much about Nebula Band, but I run 10-mans. I will always run 10-mans until I get this fucking wand. This wand is very important. It's very fucking good. You don't need the hit rating on it, but just the fact that it has a socket and it's super high item level now, unquestionable BIS. So overall, this is all the items. This is considered set 1. I'll let you look at the talents and all the different buffs and whatnot. This is unquestionable BIS, in my opinion, or the best set for most of the bosses. And now I will show you the other set. So this is set 2. The only things that really change are that you're running the firefighter helmet. And I do think that this set is going to parse better on certain fights. I'll tell you the exact bosses later. But I do think this, like I said, I think this set will do a little better on certain fights. So this is the firefighter helmet. This is firefighter 25 helmet. It's just, you know, it's super high item level. Yeah, pretty good. And I am running scale in this set. And then this is Flame of Ithon necklace. Again, I'm only gonna note the things that I changed from my own set. You're gonna be running with Cosmos. This is from Algalon 25. highly coveted item. You're probably going to be sharing that with mages, boomkins, all sorts of shit. So this might take you a while to get. And then you are going to be using, like I said, Scale of Fates. So Scale of Fates on a short fight is probably going to outweigh just about everything. The static amount of spell power is very high, especially with the item level increase. And then the haste proc is probably just going to be used if you had, like, let's say a 2-minute 45 fight. You're probably going to get one in execute, and then you're going to get one on the pull as well. So I think it has a lot of, I think it has a good use, but I would not even take this trinket for the most part. So yeah, this is the entire set, and then I just want to show you the same talents, glyphs, all that bullshit. Show you that I put the same buffs, and then so this is considered set 2. I'll go ahead and show you the stats of everything really quick. So that's for set 2. Now this is for set 1. And you'll notice that you get about, you basically trading off crit for more haste compared to the 2 sets. And then the 2 proc trinkets are a massive difference versus scale. Okay, so last part of the video that I want to get into. So this is kind of the reason why I think that my set is substantially better than the one that's put into the Warlock Discord, which is the same as set 2. I think for the most part, on just about every difficult fight that your guild is going to struggle on, I think that set 1 is going to be much better. It's going to, there's several different spots where multi-dot is important, drain phase is important. Both of those things are not going to be found on a fucking sim. Your sim is just not going to understand, like, okay, he rechanneled here, he got his another proc here. The only way that this changes is if the fights are start to become super fast. So I'm talking algalon dies in like 2-minute 45, or firefighter dies in just a ridiculously low amount of time. But yeah, let's just go through all the bosses and why I think my set's better for most of them. So for set 2, I think Ignis is going to be killed very quickly. Well, let's start with Razor Scale. Razor Scale, the boss is fucking easy. Who cares? Honestly, you just use either set. For Ignis, I think that set 2 is going to do a little better. I think that Ignis has been dying very quickly, and I think that once you guys start getting, like, once your group actually starts putting on fucking Ulduar hard mode loot, all that bullshit, I think that it'll just do substantially better, just because it's a really fast fight. You get more use out of scale, but honestly, it's an easy fight, so it's kind of in the who cares as well. Next fight's gonna be XT hard mode. I think set 1's gonna do a lot better. I think you're gonna get like 10 fucking dying curse procs versus maybe 2 or 3, well, probably 3 or 4 scale procs. Anytime there's movement, I think haste is better. Anytime there's extra adds that you have to kill, so you have to kill life sparks, I think any multi-dot, anytime that you need to even fucking like putting drain life maybe, I think that haste is going to be substantially better. So for XC hard mode, I think my set's better. Iron Council is another one where I think set 1's going to do a little better, just because you're probably going to keep up at least 1 empowered corruption, probably 2 for a majority of the fight. It is a fast fight, but the thing, making sure that you get that double rune of power is going to be a lot of your damage, and so it's really, most of your damage is going to be coming from fucking corruption, and then, you know, getting good drains in on every individual boss. Corruption and drain are going to what's the word, they're going to get more benefit out of the haste build versus the crit build. Same thing for Kologarn. Kologarn, you're going to be multi-dying the entire time. Even when the ads come out, you're going to be, you're probably just going to see those, but just about the entire fight. If you want top parses, you're going to be multi-dotting. And I think that having more haste is going to be a lot better. Ariaya. Ariaya is also in the who cares fucking category because she's piss easy. But I think that people will actually kill Ariaya in probably like 2 minutes, so you might get a little better. You might get a little better parses out of set 2. It kind of depends if they count the cat damage as pad or not on logs. Yeah, I think Ariaya, you'd probably just use set 2. For algalon, you're gonna want to be corruptioning on the ads when you go in the black hole, and you're also gonna be wanting corruptioning on the was it constellations or whatever? No, not constellation, the stars. During just about every phase. So I think you're gonna have good multi-dot uptime. I think that the haste one, and it's a very long fight. Algalon's, I want to say, I can't see it going under 4 minutes for quite a while. I think that set 1's just going to be substantially better, just because you're going to get all those procs with the double proc trinkets. For Hodier hard mode, here is where the set 2 starts becoming way better than set 1. So set 2, for Hodier hard mode, a lot of the time during that fight you have a haste proc. So as Affliction, you may even opt to go the Firestone over Spellstone, just because of you just don't need 60 haste, and then you don't really need like a lot of your damage is going to come from Shadow Bolt, and Shadow Bolt scales a lot better with crit versus haste. And it's a very short fight, so having scale is going to substantially improve your damage, because you're definitely going to have it for the entire execute. And then Hodier hard mode, I mean, it's going to be like a 1 minute 30 fight eventually. So I would say that set 2 is going to be good for Hodier. Same for Thorm hard mode. Thorm is technically a long fight, but for a majority of the fight, you're not doing anything important. I'm talking about specifically Thorm damage, which is everything that matters, really. For that portion of the fight, you have a lot of haste, and it's a pretty quick time. It's probably like a 2 minute 30 fight or something like that if you have adequate DPS, and then it obviously gets better with everybody getting geared. I think that set 2 is going to do a lot better on Thorm hard mode, as far as getting Thorm damage specifically. So next one is going to be Freya hard mode. So Freya hard mode, I would definitely just use set 1. Set 1 is going to have substantially more haste. You're going to be using seed a lot if you're intelligent. You're going to make sure that you're getting trees down. You're going to be getting fucking several ads down. You're going to want to be multi-dotting multiple ads throughout the fight. And then you're also going to want to make sure that you're even able to keep up like Shadow Embrace and whatnot. I think that haste is going to do substantially better. Same for the proc trinkets. As long as you're not procking it on Freya early like an idiot, or if your raid is having a hard time, you could swap one of your trinkets for fucking scale, just so that you can use scale and a haste potion on like the second set of ads or something, some weird nuance like that maybe. But for the most part, if you just want max damage, I think for Freya you're going to use my set. And then for Firefighter, same thing. You're going to be multi-dotting a lot of that fight. The haste is going to definitely outweigh the crit set. And several different phases. You have way more. So when it comes to your proc trinkets aren't going to be going off during intermission phases as well. So you have to think, okay, you just killed him phase 1. Now your crit build isn't doing shit, but your proc trinkets are coming off of cooldown as well. So they're definitely going to proc like as soon as phase 2 starts, as soon as phase 3 starts, as soon as phase 4 starts. And then a majority of the fight, you're multi-dotting. So I think for Firefighter set 1, for Vezax, Vezax is another fight where you have way too much fucking haste already. If you're standing in the puddles, if you're doing the fight correctly, I think the set 2 will do better. Yeah, there's really not much else to say about that. And then for Yogg 0 and Yogg 1, there's tons of multi-dot on that fight. So I think for Yogg 0, Yogg 1, set 1 is definitely going to be better with the haste and being able to multi-dot shit, proc trinkets, all that good shit. But yeah, if you look at, so let's look at this overall. So overall for these sets, for a vast majority of the fights that are going to put your guild under pressure, XT hard mode, Freya hard mode, fucking Firefighter, Yogg 0, Algalon, I would say those are the more important fights. And set 1 is going to be used for those. So me personally, I wouldn't even bother with making set 2. I wouldn't bother taking away Scale of Fates from someone else. I wouldn't bother taking away Flame Vitha Neck from someone else. I would just go with my set, but you know, that's me. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I think this video turned out way fucking longer than I expected. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys have weak auras, fucking add-ons, keybinds, all that bullshit questions, make sure you check out the Discord. But yeah, I'll be posting a lot more Ulduar content. Make sure you check out my stream. Boy streams a lot. And yeah, thanks for watching though, and have a good one.